Okay, I'll give you. We are working on this Telegram only. Let me give you. Hold on. Let me check Telegram. What is it? So this is the one you are using. 2021 link. Here, put it in the comment section. Telegram. Okay. Chalo. This is just the orientation class. For 1 or 2 days, we will be doing the orientation classes. Orientation means it is related to basics. In basics, what we'll be studying is we'll be doing the revision of your basically JIB and your basics. Basics of your overall what is required for the ABM. So today we'll be doing the revision. What is the way in which the company raises the funds? In what ways does the company raise the funds? What are the 2 ways in which company raises the funds? Number 1, through equity, and number 2, through number 1 is through equity, and number 2 is through what are the ways in which the company raises the funds? Any company, let it be. Any company. How will it raise the funds? Through equity and through second one is called as what? It's also say WhatsApp. Okay, hold on. What are the ways in which the company raises the funds? Any company. How does it raise the funds? The company raises the funds through everyone. Those who are watching on YouTube, you also. One is equity, second is called as debt. DVT debt. Okay, equity and debt. These are the 2 ways. Oh. One second. One second. Equity means, what are the important points of equity? Equity is own funds. Own funds. Okay? Funds. Equity means own funds. Whatever the shareholders have invested in you. Okay? Yeah, correct. Preference shares. Sure, equity is your own funds. Now let it be common equity or preference shares. Common shares or preference shares, both are same. Means in terms of own funds. Debt is compulsory payment. See this debt, if you call, debt is compulsory payment. Compulsory means what? Compulsory. Compulsory payment. Debt. Now, what do you mean by this compulsory payment? It means let anything happen to your company, you have to pay it to the paid back. Means, for example, bank loan. Bank loan. Okay, it's a debt payment. It's a compulsory payment. Okay. Suppose if your company works or doesn't work, you have to pay the bank loan. Okay, so that's why it's called as compulsory, and this is a part of tier 2 capital generally. So this is bank loan compulsory payment. Here you'll have to pay the interest on whatever you have whatever money you have got. So you'll pay the interest on this, extra interest. Here you don't have to pay any interest. Here no interest. No interest. Okay? Interest. No interest over here. So that is the main difference. This is your own money. This is a part of your tier 1. Tier 1. This is a part of your tier 2. Tier 2 capital. Tier 1 means own money. Tier 2 means borrowed money. Okay? So this is the main difference. Now coming back to this, equity and debt difference, you got it. Now what is the difference between this? Common shares and preference shares. Now look at this. This equity I told you, own funds. But equity is of two types. Okay? Equity is of two types. Common and preference. So common shares come in this part. Common shares come in this part, free. Okay, free. Preference shares come in this part, preference. It is compulsory. It is compulsory. But there is a slight difference between preference shares and debt. Otherwise, you'll say, why do we have separate preference shares then? If it is same as debt, then why do we have this? See, the reason is like this. In preference shares, kindly note, you give the dividends compulsory. See, here you have compulsory dividend. Compulsory dividend. Dividend, dividend, understand the word. Compulsory dividend. Here you have compulsory dividend. But here you have compulsory EMI. EMI or interest. Okay? So what is the difference between debt and preference share? If your company is in losses, then also in debt you have to make the payment. But here in preference share, if your company is in losses, then you need not make the dividend payment because you have not made a profit. Because after all, it's a share, preference share. Your common share, what is common share? This is a free money. Free money means like what you purchase it from the stock market. Okay, let's see the examples of this. Common shares, you get it from the stock market. Very simple example. Stock market or share market. Okay? Share market, you get common shares. Preference shares, you don't get it there. For preference shares, you don't get it in the stock market. This is issued when the company is formed. When company is formed. At that time, these shares are issued, preference shares. Okay? So when the company is formed, at that time the preference shares are issued. Yeah. Correct, Lalit. They show the ownership. Both the shares show the ownership. See here, common shares also show the ownership, preference also show the ownership. Now understand the difference between these shares, few terms on this. Okay. Now what are the important terms in this? In shares you have two values. Okay. Now let's make it this way also. In shares you have two values. What are the two values? See. You have two parts in shares. Always you have two values. One is the face value. Face value. Same is true with the bond also. And second is market price. Market price. Now what is the difference between them? Market value or price. You can call it value also. Market value and face value. What is the difference between them? Now as Lalit you have told, you have written that it's ownership. So ownership is always for the face value. Ownership is always for the face value. Okay. It's never for the market value. Okay. Market value is the premium which these investors are ready to pay. Premium which the investors are ready to pay. Okay. That is market value. Now you'll let me make it more clear. Okay. See this. I'll make this clear over here. See this. Watch this now. I've taken an example of Reliance share. Reliance share face value. Okay. Now look at it. If you look at the face value, see industry PE is given, book value is given, book to debt ratio is given, debt to equity ratio is given. Face value is given as 10 rupees. Look at this, 10. Okay. So face value is 10 rupees. But what is the price of Reliance share today? Price of Reliance share is Reliance share price. See this. Reliance share price is today 1290. Able to see this? See this. Let me show you. See this. Reliance share face value is 10 and Reliance share price is 1290. Okay. What do you mean by this? Okay. Reliance share price is this and value is 1290. Okay. This is the face value and this is the price. Price. See, this is the price, 1290. Now you'll think, what is the difference between these two? See, the difference between these two is the face value is known as the ownership, as you rightly told Lalit. Okay, this is the ownership. Means if tomorrow something happens to this company, and if I am having one share of Reliance, it means I am having the ownership of 10 rupees in Reliance. 10 rupees, whatever that face value is. So face value is the ownership amount. And what is the market value then? This is the premium which I am paying. So for 10 rupees, I am paying 1290. So what is my premium which I am paying? Premium means difference between them. So I am paying 1280 rupees extra. This is the extra payment. Extra. Okay. This is the extra payment which I am making. Because this is the market price. Now what do you mean by this extra? Why am I paying extra? Because I have trust in that company. I have trust in that company. That's why I am paying extra. I feel that the company is going to grow in future. That's why I want the ownership of 10 rupees in Reliance. That's why I am paying 1280 rupees extra. So this is generally the case in common equity shares. Common equity. Okay. This is generally not the case in preference shares. No, because preference shares are issued when the company is formed. Now, whom are the preference shares given? Preference shares are generally given to those who are the known ones, known persons. Your family members or your close friends, for them the preference shares are given. Whom are owner common shares given? Common shares are given to anyone. Anyone can come and purchase those shares. Right now you can purchase Reliance share. Do you know anyone from Ambani family? Do you know anyone from this Infosys family? Narayan Murthy's family? No one. But then also you can purchase it. Why? Because they are available in the secondary market, stock market, share market. So common shares are available in the share market. Okay, ownership, face value shows the ownership. Now same is true for the bonds also. Even if you check at the bonds is also the same. Face value is different and market value is different. Market value means the price at which it is traded in the stock market or the bond market. Face value means the ownership of that face. Okay, ownership of that overall bond or share. Got it? So coming back to this, common and preference shares. Okay. Now look at this again over here. Preference shares also, there are two types of preference shares. Okay. Two types of preference shares. These are called as perpetual. Sure, actually there are three qualities in preference shares. Okay. Let me come to that. Preference shares has three qualities which you have studied in your JAIIB. Okay, let me write it over here. Preference shares have three qualities. What are the three qualities? One is redeemable. Redeem. Okay? Redeem. Got it? That is first quality. Redeemable. Redeemable means what? Whenever I want, I can go to the company and give back the shares and take my money back. Okay? Redeemable. So I can redeem them, give back the money, give back the shares, give back the shares and take my money back. Okay? Second is participating. I'll write it over here. Participating. Participating means what? What is participating? It means that suppose if the company, this company, has extra money means it has got some surplus from the funds. And what happens in this surplus? After this extra money, this company wants to now distribute it among the shareholders, common shareholders. It wants to distribute. Now, after distributing, let's say this company has got 1000 rupees. Extra money, extra. Now it has given the dividends. Dividends it has given. All the dividends it has paid. Let's say it is, what, 400 rupees out of this. Then it has paid everything else. All the expenses gone. Other expenses, all of them gone. Okay? Let's say 200, 300 rupees. So now what happens? Out of this 1000 extra, company has distributed this 700. So what is the remaining amount? 300 now. Now this 300, these participating shareholders have the right. So whatever is the extra funds remaining with the company, extra funds, these extra funds can be claimed by the preference shareholders. Okay? So redeemable, participating, and third one is cumulative. Cumulative. Now what? This is a very important quality of preference shares. Cumulative. What is this quality called as? Cumulative means, here it means, suppose if I am giving the share, suppose if I issue whenever I issue the shares, let's say you are holding the shares of my company. Okay? You are holding the shares. But now what happens? This year, now look at the image. Year 1. I don't give the dividend. No dividend. No dividend. I don't give the dividend. Let's say on year 1. Then what happens? In year 2. Okay. I did not give any dividend on year 1. Some problems might be there. I don't have money, whatever might be the problems. I am the company, I did not give dividend. So in year 2, what happens? If it is a cumulative preference share, then I'll have to give the dividend for year 2, dividend I'll have to give plus year 1 dividend. Earlier year dividend which I didn't give, year 1 dividend plus arrears. Arrears means the difference, loss. Don't you get arrears in your bank? When your bank does something, means gives you from the backdated, some increment from the backdated. So you get the arrears. So this is known as cumulative quality. Preference shares have these 3 qualities, very important ones: redeemable, participating, and cumulative. Okay, that's why these are taken in this compulsory payment, and that's why these are taken in tier 2. Okay, now I'll come to this point. Preference shares have 2 parts. Now let me show you. See here, you first got the qualities of preference shares. Now understand, preference shares are of two types. These are the qualities. Kindly note, these are the qualities. Okay, quality of preference shares. Then second, now look at it, the types of preference shares. See, types of preference shares are 2 types. 2 types of preference shares are there. What are the 2 types of preference shares? Here. One are participating. Here. This, now look at the opposite words. Redeemable. What is the opposite of redeemable? What do you mean by redeemable? You can go any time and give the shares to the company and take your money back. Okay? So I can go any time, give the shares back. It's like the FD. What do we do in FD? The customer can come any time in your bank, give the FD to you and take his money back, right? So this is the redeemable quality. Now what is the opposite of redeemable quality? Okay, opposite of redeemable. That is perpetual. So perpetual means what? Here once I issue the share, you cannot come back to me for at least 30 years. Means I'll give the date. If I am the company issuing, I'll give the date. You cannot come back to me up to 30 years. This you'll have to keep it with you. So now understand, if this redeemable quality is gone, means you can't come back to me. You have to keep it till 30 years. So this becomes what then? This becomes free money. It means what? I have given you the money, I have given you the bonds, taken money from you, and I don't have to pay back till, let's say, 30 years. 30 years. So this is the free money for me. So that's why this will be included in your equity part, means tier 1 part. Tier 1, because this is the free money. So whenever any preference share is having perpetual quality, it's included in tier 1. Okay. Now this participating, this is a common practice everywhere. It cannot be replaced. This cannot be replaced. Okay, cannot be replaced. Be changed, you can call it, changed. Okay. This redeemable you can change to perpetual. Now cumulative. This also can be changed. Cumulative means I can make it non-cumulative. 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 Okay. Now this is the opposite of cumulative. Now what do you mean by non-cumulative? Non-cumulative means tomorrow if my company does not give a dividend in year 1, then in year 2, it's not compulsory for me. It's not compulsory for me to give the dividend in year 1. I'll give the dividend of only year 2. I will not give the dividend of year 1 and the arrears. I will not give them. Okay. So this is the meaning of non-cumulative. So understand this, these two qualities, these are removed in non-cumulative, removed, cross. So you need not give this year 1 dividend and arrears. You need not give it back to this customer. That is the non-cumulative quality. Now understand this. If you don't have this non-cumulative quality, it means what? Again, it's a free money. See, whenever I want to give the dividend, I'll give it. Whenever I don't want, I won't give it. So you can't make a compulsion on me. So it's what is this quality? These two qualities are similar to that of your common equity. Okay, these two qualities are similar to that of your common equity. So these two are same as common equity. Common equity. Okay. So when you say these are same as common equity, that's why these two qualities can be added in tier 1. Tier 1. Okay. So that's why those shares, let me come back to this now. So coming back to this point, those preference shares which are, okay, see preference shares, because this, here everyone understands common equity. Everyone understands the common equity. Preference share is very difficult to understand. Okay. Now those preference shares which are this perpetual, non-cumulative, so these become the part of tier 1. And those which are redeemable and cumulative, these become the part of tier 2. Okay, tier 2. Got it, everyone? So this is the difference between the preference shares also. Perpetual non-cumulative and redeemable non-cumulative. Okay. So these become the part of your tier 2. These become the part of your tier 1. Got it, everyone? Clear this concept? Because this will be needed by you whenever you will be doing your BFM also. In BFM also you need it. In your ABM also you need it. Both the parts and I'll be teaching you both. I am teaching you both ABM also, BFM also. So ABM I am teaching module A and C. A and C means basically all the numericals part. Okay. Module A includes your all this. Yesterday I took this basic. It includes all your statistics. Module B includes all your company loans and investments in ABM. How to cover the loans, what are the various investments, how to cover those investments. These are all included in module C. And in BFM, you require all this, whatever you are studying over here right now, you will be requiring everything in BFM, everything. Okay. So, we were over here, equity and common equity and preference shares. Okay. Very important part regarding common equity and here this itself is a big topic, equity and debt. Now coming back to this equity part again, here I'll take only equity today, clear the concepts of equity. Here first 3-4 lectures we are keeping it only basics so that everyone understands what is the difference between the basics of over here. Okay. Tomorrow I'll be taking about the debt, bonds. Various bond structures, what are the various types of bonds. Okay. So, let's focus on equity today. So, common equity and preference. Now, one thing about this equity market, always understand in shares, there is something called as primary market and secondary market. Now, what is this primary and secondary market? Primary, you always hear this word, primary and secondary market. Secondary. What is the difference between primary and secondary market? See here, you get these IPOs. All of you had invested in some IPOs earlier. How many of you are having the demat accounts, shares? How many of you are having the demat accounts or shares? You are holding some shares. Are you holding some shares? Anyone? Yes? How many of you are holding the shares? Any share it can be, any company shares. Right? Yeah. Now, tell me one thing. Now, many of the bankers are confused. I'll tell you the confusion in the bankers. Many of the bankers feel that you cannot invest in shares. You have to give your investment right at the beginning of the year and at the end of the year. You have to give the investment na, in your banks. All the commercial banks are required to take the investment of the employees of their beginning of the year and end of the year. You take it na, every year. You might be giving it in your bank. Investments in your beginning of the year and sometimes at the end also or next year also. It's one and the same. Many of the bankers are confused. They feel that the bank wants to tell you that you cannot invest in shares. It's not that. When you give this investment declaration every year to the bank, do you give it or no? You guys, you might be giving this investment declaration to all of them, to your bank. What all FDs you have, what all investments you have, what all property you have, any house you have, you might be giving this investment declaration. So kindly understand, what does it mean? It doesn't mean that, it doesn't mean that you cannot invest in shares. You can invest in shares, only it means that you have to declare how much you have invested. How much you have invested. Okay? So I can invest, it's my money, I am getting the salary. Suppose if I am getting the salary from the bank, it's my money, I'll invest it anywhere. Nobody can stop me. So it only means that you declare it, that whatever you are investing. It shouldn't happen that this year you have invested 1 lakh in shares and next year you have invested 20 lakhs in shares. Then immediately the question will come, from where did you get this much amount for investment? If 1 year you have invested 1 lakh, second year you have invested 1.5 lakhs, then no problem. Everyone will think that it's okay, common practice. So this is a common myth among the bankers that banks don't allow you to invest in shares. Nothing like this. Banks say you do anything with your money as far as you are getting the salary, but be in your limit. That's it. So now coming back to this Demat account, I was on this Demat account. Whenever you get the shares directly from the IPO, whenever you get the shares directly from the IPO, that is called as primary market, IPO. IPO means what? Like you have many IPOs now coming up, right? Many IPOs are coming up. See this. See this. These are the IPOs coming up. Okay. You just type on Google, you'll get it. Many companies are there. Some small, big, anything. Okay. These are the companies in which you are having the IPO. Just now you had that IPO of Hyundai. Hyundai had one IPO. Right. Maruti car. Similar to Maruti, we have Hyundai cars. So they had this IPO. So whenever you invest through IPO, it is called as primary market. Whenever you get it directly from the company, it's called as primary market. So IPO means what? Directly from the company. Directly from company. Okay? Company. And what is the secondary market? Whenever, let's say, I purchase this. See, let's take this example. I purchase A. A purchases it from the company, IPO directly. Now A wants to sell it. Sell. A wants to sell it to, let's say, anyone in the market. Now this market is known as secondary market. This is secondary. Whenever you don't get it directly from the company, but you get it from someone else, then it is called as secondary market. From here B will purchase. B. Okay? This is like buying the flat. Whenever you get the flat directly from the builder, developer, whenever you'll get the flat from the builder. Okay? So that is IPO. Whenever you purchase the second-hand flat, that is secondary market. This is how the things work. Okay. Whenever you get it from the builder, it's a primary market. Whenever you get it from the second-hand flat, then it's a secondary market. Okay. So this is regarding the primary market and secondary market. Preference shares and common equity shares. Now, one thing about common equity shares, kindly note. In common equity shares, no dividend is compulsory. See here, in preference shares, dividend is compulsory. I gave you over here, compulsory dividend. Equity, no dividend is compulsory. Common equity use, even if I say I won't give any dividend, then also you can't say anything to me. Reliance company did not give dividends for almost 20-25 years. 20-25 years it did not give any dividend. Long period. Generally Reliance doesn't give any dividend. Then also people invest in Reliance. Why? Because of the trust. Okay. So in equity, dividends are not compulsory. They can be given, they may not be given. Now you'll ask the question then, if Reliance is having profits, huge profits, but why doesn't it give dividend? What will it do with that money? What does it do with that money? If it doesn't give it, see here, what is the logic behind profits? See here, always remember, how does the profits work in banks or any company? Profits. First one is always remember gross profit. Gross profit. This gross profit comes from your trading account. Trading account. Okay. From trading gross profit, you get next term which you get is EBITDA. EBITDA. You might have heard this word many times. EBITDA. Earnings before interest. Now look at these words properly. Earnings before interest, taxation, depreciation and amortization. Interest before interest, taxation, depreciation and amortization. This is EBITDA. From EBITDA what you get is whenever you give, then what do? You subtract this DA, depreciation and amortization. Then you get EBIT. This is called as EBIT. This EBIT is also called as operating profit. Operating profit. Okay. Profit. So this is your regular expenses, company expenses, operating, whatever you require for your daily expenses. From this EBIT you subtract again INT, interest and taxation, you subtract it. Then what you get is EB. This EB is called as NPAT because nothing is before now. Sorry. So this is called as NPAT. NPAT means what? Net profit after taxation. Tax is always paid at the end. First depreciation amortization is subtracted, then interest is subtracted and then tax is subtracted. And then it is called as NPAT. Now this NPAT whatever you have, this can be distributed in two ways. Now I am coming to this question. Why does Reliance give dividend? This NPAT can be given in two ways. Number one, through dividends. Dividends is always given to the shareholders. Okay, dividends is always given to the shareholders. Now, second way is, company might say, I don't want to give the dividend. So, this company will invest this money. Invest. For future projects, some future project if it wants to take, then invest for future. This is known as R&S, reserves and surplus, which you have in your books, right? You might have studied this R&S. So this is known as R&S, reserves and surplus. So any company which is having the profits, these profits can be distributed in two ways. Number one, it can give us a dividend or it may not give us a dividend and it will invest in reserves and surplus. Why do I take the example of Reliance? Because Reliance has everything. You name it in the stock market, Reliance has done all these things. Now I'll give you an example. Between 2008 and 2016, 9 and 16, 2009 to 2016, Reliance did not give any penny, any dividend to any shareholder. It just took the profit and invested it. Invested it means kept in the current account. It was having 40,000 crores in its current account lying idle for 7 years, 2009 to 2016. 40,000 crores were there lying idle. So all the stock market was complaining. Every person in the stock market was complaining, means the knowledgeable person, not like you and me. We don't even look at the balance sheet of Reliance, isn't it? Those who are in the market and the senior persons, those who are having huge investments, they are all questioning, what are you doing, Reliance? Why aren't you giving this money as a dividend or putting it somewhere? So Reliance just kept quiet. And in 2016, it invested all the money, full money, whatever it had at 40,000 crores, it invested. Where did it invest in 2016? Where did Reliance invest in 2016? The money which it had kept from 2009 in the current account, it invested. Where did it invest in 2016? Can anyone tell me? Where did the Reliance invest in 2016? Yes? Jio. Okay, Jio came in 2016, isn't it? Jio, Reliance Jio. It came in 2016. So at that time, the whole money was invested. So this is how the company keeps the funds or distributes the profits. Tomorrow we'll be doing debt. Debt means your bonds. We'll be doing certain numericals on bonds. We'll be doing the basics, price, how to find out the price of bonds. Okay, market price. What is known as YTM. We'll be doing all the basics of dividend of this bonds tomorrow. Okay, chalo, bye for today. Okay, enjoyed the class, everyone. Enjoyed the class. Let me take the opinion poll. Okay. Okay. Hold on. See, here I have submitted the opinion poll. Okay. I have submitted the opinion poll, everyone. Just answer the opinion poll. I have submitted the opinion poll. Everyone answer the opinion poll. Done? Yeah, enjoyed everyone. Chalo, bye. Chalo, bye everyone. Let's meet tomorrow.